It has been a minute, and we're in a brand new location. Yes, it's smaller than the last location, but we have everything we need here, and I'm absolutely loving the new space. So I decided, as a kind of a fitting start to the new part of the new chapter, is we would go over the concept of intent and jump intent specifically. In my posts and kind of in the content that I provide, I talk a lot about intent, and I get kind of the same responses, which is, what do you mean by jump intent? And what I mean by jump intent is really trying to craft the deliberate nature of the strides that comprise the approach and comprise the plant sequence. So when I meet a new athlete that is having difficulty kind of expressing the fullness of their vertical, is not, more often than not, really is not to do with being strong enough or more powerful. It's there's no urgency behind the strides leading up. And the push-punch cue has been extremely helpful across the masses to help kind of create that behavior and kind of reinforce those behaviors in a mass majority of athletes. So when I get a brand new athlete and I see them jump and touch and test and they're plateauing, the first thing I look at is, are they actively accelerating through these strides, or are we getting kind of more of a tiptoe effect? And what I mean by that is, if I was to go, say, touch the kind of the overhang up there, there's a couple different ways I can do this. This one, I could kind of just like hop into the jump and hop step into my takeoff, or I could utilize the fact that I have all of this real estate to play around with and be active through these strides, or be deliberate in my strides, meaning that every single stride I take, I am increasing my acceleration, but also paying attention to what's happening with the rest of my body. So instead of this kind of tiptoeing mentality, as I approach this, what I'm gonna think is every stride I'm gonna cover a little bit of distance here. So it's push, 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 and then I'm creating that deliberate nature behind my strides, and I'm sourcing the fullness of my potential that's in there. And that's the magic part, where I get people saying, like, I can't believe I've been stuck at this potential, or at this plateau for so long, and I work with you for 10 minutes and I can jump higher. And it's not magic. It is, one, understanding as a jumper that there's more potential in you than you have any idea already. And number two is, acceleration, speed, velocity is your best friend in jumping. Along with general strength and stability, and obviously making sure that we're powerful and explosive, that's part of it. But if we can learn to convert these strides through a mindful, intent-driven effort, meaning that when I'm present and trying to be explosive, I'm thinking explosive to be explosive. And that's something that I try to drive home with athletes every single time. Every single time I see them is, okay, we're getting powerful today, we're gonna be lifting, we're gonna be incorporating in some plyometrics, and we need to start wrapping our head around being explosive and being bouncy. So that even means as early as the warm-ups, or as early as coming to the gym, is starting to get that mindset, focus in on that effort, so that when you get here, you're already there. I don't know how many times, and I'm sure you're the same way, where you hit the gym and it kind of feels like you're just going through the motions, and those days are going to happen. You can't get rid of those days. They're part of the process. Sometimes our nervous system just needs a bit of time to rest and recover. Sometimes life throws a whole handful of stuff at you that you need some time and cognitive processing time to be able to deal with it. But when it comes down to getting the most out of you on, say, a testing day, and or during your training, and or during your sporting event, is being present, being mindful, and having intent-driven strides into your plant, as well as your plant and block foot. Need to be intentful, meaning that you don't just skate through, and that's what happens a lot of time with athletes that blow through their takeoff, is we get this kind of haphazard feet that don't necessarily get placed in position with that intent-driven effort. So I urge you, next time you go out and jump, is first and foremost, start the processing, wrapping your head around your workout earlier, whether that means that you need to get some sort of motivational, routine kind of under your belt. For me, and I shared this with my insiders not long ago, was on my way to workouts, what I would do in the car is I would crank the music and I would just scream and I would yell really, really loudly. This obviously helped me to manage a lot of the frustrations I had throughout the day, but more importantly, it amped me up, got my adrenaline going, got the blood flowing, it got, the tissues nice and saturated, and it amped my energy rate up. It was like the best pre-workout you could ever imagine. If that works for you, do that. If listening to music and singing or rapping in the car on the way over gets you amped up, do it. If coming in and being completely silent and being able to focus helps you perform, then do that. Put yourself in an environment, create behaviors that surround you that help you thrive as an athlete and get the most out of each and every effort. So again, to kind of wrap this up, intent or jump intent refers to being deliberate through your strides. We got to get away from this tiptoe shit where it's like you're on your toes and trying to be extra swaggy, because all you're doing is taking potential away from your effort. It might look cool to you and your friends to kind of, walk up to a rim every now and then and nice and relaxed and swaggy do that. But when you have the opportunity to train with deliberate strides and intent, you will get so much more out of yourself physiologically. It will also help you strengthen your mindset as it relates to being explosive and jumping really high. This was a little bit more of a rant style video, and I apologize if you're looking for drills. The YouTube's full of them. So do yourself a favor, go down, watch the videos, hit the like button. What else do you do? Oh yeah, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button. Just, if you see a button, just hit it, hit all the buttons. Just be careful that you don't hit too many buttons and you mess up your computer and all that good stuff. So anyway, from myself at my brand new location, we'll talk to you in the next one.